Art should comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. Almost all of us have heard this quote by Cesar Cruz, and we've all consumed pieces of media that disturbed us, either because they touched our soul or because they called us out on our hypocrisy, and there's simply an uncanny feeling placed into it. We can never truly fully know what the artist's intentions behind their artworks are. Sometimes, not even they know what led them to make certain choices, like picking up a certain brush, using a different chord, singing in a different key, writing with a certain pen. It just feels right. Yet sometimes, what artists want is ever so different from what society likes. Sometimes, it's weird, bizarre, raw, cruel, out of the box. Sometimes, the need to create something weird takes over, and it's only logical. In anthropology, religion is deemed something logical, even if irrational. There's a hierarchy, beliefs, and rules and morals that are communicated between individuals. So why can't art be the religion of the lost souls or the artists? I will use the word religion a lot, but not as an actual specific religion-related thing or spiritual-related experience, but in a metaphorical way. Art constantly tempts the artist. Take one more picture. Drag the brush one more time. One more page. One more step. The artist is constantly having their faith tested. When they embrace this religion that sometimes acts as a drug, just another painkiller, they are able to create wonderful masterpieces that have a bit of their faith and soul onto them. And we don't need to think of something macabre or obscure. Pieces of the artist can be seen in any good pop culture product. I'll give you some examples of some pop culture products of modern times that I enjoy as a basis. Music connects us all and is probably one of the most international ways of communicating. Music makes us feel a certain way. It sets a mood. And we don't need to know music theory or the language of a song to make us feel a certain way. Obviously, that can help us understand the message behind songs, but it will never explain us everything like previously mentioned. I'll use the song Tokyo by Slovenian rock and roll band Joker Out as an example. The song gave me nostalgic vibes at first listen despite its upbeat tempo. Slovenian is still considered a niche language. There are only about 2 million native speakers. Nevertheless, this song makes me feel a pain in my chest that made me fall in love with it. I cannot not mention an obvious factor such as cultural proximity between nearby countries and race proximity. Music is more easily enjoyed by the masses when there is cultural proximity between the song and its culture. That is a recurring theme of art, and I want to keep it in mind for the rest of this essay. Culture and art of those who are seen as different by the Western world, we are considering USA, Canada, and Europe for the sake of simplicity, tend to be overshadowed by it. You can see that even Asian countries such as South Korea and Japan had to give up a part of their cultures to be able to have success internationally. Not only that, but the USA seems to be Americanizing Europe as well, as we see that often European artists will have to give up parts of their cultures, like language, to be able to make it in the industry. However, it's not impossible to enjoy songs from different cultural contexts. It's just harder, especially if you try to understand the song and its full context. You'll have to enter a new world. It's almost like entering a stage of suspension of disbelief. When you go and watch a play and you just accept rules from that world can be different from ours. That's the same as learning a new language with a different structure from the one we grew up hearing and talking in. Concepts that previously didn't exist were now implanted in a part of our brains, and those that existed and were considered normal have now been suspended. That is what art is about. Throwing away the notion of one reality only and learning and accepting different ways of process thinking in order to create something new. Learn the rules to learn how to break them, like in language slang. One of my favorite video games ever is Undertale. Although a Western game, Undertale takes inspiration in aspects of video games such as Pokémon to create something new. Pokemon, like many other video games or game series, takes the approach of killing or capturing enemies in order to get stronger. In Undertale, and more recently in Deltarune, we are supposed to learn about enemies and engage in creative ways of peaceful combat, or simply run away because in this game, your objective is not to get stronger. You'd have to play the wrong way to get that result. I could someday write a whole essay on Undertale, but I don't want to spoil my viewer, and this is only an example I wanted to use. Another pop culture example well known by the masses that subverts expectations is Shrek. Although considered by a lot just a meme and funny, Shrek took the original fairy tales of medieval Europe, familiar to us thanks to the likes of companies that represent capitalism's effect in culture, such as Disney, and twisted their characters and intentions to create something new. Though the intention of this video is not to criticize Disney itself for what it has done to pop culture and the public domain, it really is important we mention it in an art essay. I would like to use one last type of art as reference: photography. I'm going to use Damon Baker's art since it's something I resonated with a lot and because I've been wanting to find the right words to start this essay for the longest. But it was through his photography that I was finally able to pick up and write. Damon Baker's photos are mostly taken in black and white, and he recently shot the Joker Out members in this fashion, with obscurity and an image very different from the one they show to the public normally. He mixed the raw of humanity with the beauty of it, blending genders, showing vulnerability, twisting familiar concepts of elements and light composition, with the intention of telling a story. Personally, I felt mesmerized, but even some people who loved it have told me that they felt perturbed by the way the members and moments were portrayed, saying things such as, "It shows vulnerability," "It feels private," or simply, "It feels like something we shouldn't be seeing." I was told that vulnerability was something that is considered weak, which is a notion I very much disagree with. Vulnerability can show up with love and trust. That's what I believe in. The members chose to trust Damon, trust the camera, and trust the world in these therapy sessions. I was not expecting, however, to be told that love is like being tricked and letting yourself be tricked. I've loved many times like any other human being, and I've been tricked a lot too. So tears started falling down my face when I heard that perception of love. Just like in religion, we must believe in something. It doesn't have to be something spiritual. It can be simply believing in people or oneself. There must be trust somewhere, or else what's the point? I'm someone who's been hurt a lot, despite being young still. I have a lot of trust issues with everyone, including myself, and each day I fight this mental battle against my insecurities, or else I don't have a purpose. It's the days I fight against my emotions and don't trust them that I get the most depressed. I still remember the days I contemplated starving myself to never have to face the real and scary world. I remember crying because I was scared of silence, and I remember not being able to cry in front of anyone or even alone for a full year to not show vulnerability. To this day, I struggle mentally, but I now let tears run down my face more easily. I'm not healed, I might never be, but it's because I've decided to slowly trust my emotions that I'm finally letting those bonds close. Even so, I'm frustrated, in anguish. I've never seemed to be able to make the same progress as the others around me do. I feel alienated from the world. I'm so far behind everyone else, and my art is proof of it. I don't let myself fully trust the process yet. I'm still scared to believe in my art and convey my emotions into it because I still lack in emotional intelligence. That's why it's frustrating, because my unsilenceable brain keeps telling me I can't do something different, or take a risk, or make the jump. Maybe some of you resonated with that. I try to write the truthiest of words here. But one thing I would like everyone to know is, no matter the situation, no matter what others might think, never be afraid to create art. If you want to do something different, weird, or bizarre, do it. You might create your best piece yet, or not, but do it. Do it for you. Do it to disturb the comfortable. Do it to send a message. Do it for whatever reason or lack of it. Be weird. Be unique. Be and express yourself. Stand out. Art is a religion, and artists are its followers that committed to it, and they spread the word of each of their beliefs by their practices and by their authenticity. Sorry, this is kind of a different video, and there's probably noise outside that you heard, and it's a little bit hard for me to read in English and have a good diction in English. It kind of hurts my throat a little bit, so that's why I add captions to all my videos. Hope you liked it. This is like a very personal essay, and maybe I'll do more in the future, but who knows. Bye! Oh, and follow me on my socials, because I'm more active there.